I'm delighted to welcome today Lisa Billingham from the West Midlands, who writes books and reads people. I just love that tagline, writes books and reads people. Tell us more about that, Lisa.
Thank you very much. Hi, Elaine. Lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I go to several networking meetings and they're like, you've got 8 seconds to tell me what you do. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then just with a conversation with somebody, it was like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I write books and read people. It just came from kind of nowhere. Awesome. Yeah. It's like, okay. So I literally do write books and read people. So I've written 2 novels. The first was based on my life experiences, and it was published in 2020. And the second one is the follow-up to that, which tells the story from another character's point of view. And then the reading people is the spiritual and psychic side of the business, which 90% of my clients are at a crossroads when they come to me. They may be a bit stuck, a little bit lost, possibly with, anxiety or stress or mental health illnesses, issues. But I help them get unstuck. And it's just from reading, sometimes it's reassurance, sometimes it's a little bit of guidance, sometimes it's just that something in the reading will give them a little bit of spark to think, oh, I need to take some action in that. And it's the taking action part that I do ask for every reading to have something that the client can take away and do something with, rather than just have the reading. Because a lot of people just, oh, I'm fascinated, I want to read it. But I like it to be something so that people can move forward. It doesn't always happen. It just depends on on the recipient and on what spirit want the message to be. But it's really nice when people come back a few months later or a few weeks later and go, oh, this is a massive change and this has happened and that's happened. And so it's really, really nice, really heartwarming to hear those kinds of stories afterwards as well.
Well, from personal experience, I know how effective your readings are, because since I've had the reading and I've also taken coaching from other people in various aspects of my business. I'm not expecting to be back in business at my time of life, but I'm just rocking and rolling now, and it's wonderful. So things definitely are moving for me, and I know your reading was part of the reason. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you, Elaine. I'm so pleased it helped.
So what kind of stuck things do people come to you with? I keep hearing this phrase everywhere, on every street corner there seems to be coaches and, oh, I'm helping women to come unstuck, or I'm helping, this one or that one. It's like, and scattered everywhere is this stuck thing.
Yeah. I think for me it's for want of a better phrase, because I can't think of something else that would explain that any better. But it's very much like it's a feeling of being lost. And I suppose that was where I was when I first went to see a medium. But my mission is to help 1 million people make a positive change, which is like very challenging, very, very stretching, I suppose, but not necessarily through readings or selling books or anything else. It's just, it could be helping somebody one day because I bought them a coffee and they'd got no money, they'd forgotten their purse or wallet or whatever. Or it could be just saying hello to somebody who's feeling a bit down, or asking somebody how they're feeling or whatever. And it's very much that, well, I've got several options. Am I on the right path? Is this the best way for me to go? Or I don't see any options. Sometimes it's very much that brain fog overtakes you, and you're like, you're thrown into a situation like I was with redundancy, and it's like, what do I do now? And you get so confused and lost in what you should do that people very often don't do what they really should be doing or what they really enjoy doing. And then by doing the really enjoy doing bit, it flows.
Absolutely.
Flows a lot better.
To me, that's following intuition. It's when there's a lack of clarity. I say to people all the time, whether they've got clarity or not, but just listen, follow, feel your intuition. Your intuition is always right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's because, certainly my experience, my intuition was like, listen. And I was going, what? No, I'll just do that. No, yeah, I know that's wrong, but I'll still go and do that. That feels so wrong, but I'm still going to do it. And I think it's recognising the signs personally as well, isn't it? Everybody's feels it differently. It's just, is that good or is that bad? And I think I had to go down that's bad, don't do that route, to go, oh, right, that's the sign I should actually be going.
Yeah,
no.
absolutely. I was talking with somebody about this the other day, and she pulled me up on it, because I said, even if something appears on the surface to be wrong, but your intuition is saying do it, your intuition is right. You may not see the reason why at the time, but you just know that it's the right thing for you to do. And it's about being true to yourself, isn't it?
Very much so. Very, very much so. I think we live in a society where we're kind of forced up a corner, and we're forced into like boxes, and you should do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Whereas if we step back and go, no, that feels wrong to me, I'm going to try this because this feels right. It is right, like you say. It is right. Your intuition will never ever fail you.
This happened when I was, just to put this into context, this sort of contra thing. When I had my stage 4 cancer diagnosis in 2015, I just knew that what the medics was telling me was wrong. And yet everybody, well, not everybody, some of my friends and my family were saying, no, you must do this, you must do what they tell you. And I'm, everything a bit was screaming, no, no, no. So I followed my intuition, and I'm here today, 7 years later, bright and sparky and causing more mayhem than ever. But had I not followed my intuition, the chances are I would have been killed off by the treatment. So I just knew it was wrong, So that's quite a stark example. You mentioned redundancy. So tell us about what happens there.
I'd had major surgery the year before, and I'd been on a phased return to work. While I was off, one of my colleagues and friends said, like, go back, because I said I wasn't going back. Go back, please go back, please go back. And I'm like, why? Well, there's loads of changes which were inevitable. We knew, we could see. Intuition again was saying, like, you're not going to be in this job in 12 months time and whatever. And I went back. I hadn't been back at work long. I couldn't physically do the job I was paid to do properly. I was doing it, but I couldn't physically do all the elements of it. And I knew something was wrong. There were meetings happening and I wasn't invited, and that was my job. And I thought, right, what's going on here? So I kind of put the cat amongst the pigeons, and I asked lots of awkward questions. And then the next thing, I'm in a meeting with, I think it was 13 of us, and we're all on redundancy notice. And that, I'd been wanting it for a long time, because I knew I'd got to make a change. But instead of doing it myself, I just sat and waited and waited and waited. And then the redundancy came. Did me a favour in a lot of ways, and not in others. But it was probably the first catalyst of many changes to actually become self-employed and to get out of the corporate world that was just basically destroying me.
And what was your role?
I was business development manager. So it was a specialist cleaning service, and I'd worked my way up. I'd started in admin, I'd done account coordination, and then I was business development manager. So I was traveling around the country, not worldwide, but just around the country. And I wasn't effective in my job. I wasn't enjoying my job. Back to the enjoyment and the, everything was screaming at me, get out, get out, get out, and had been for a long time. But I was just ignoring it, because I thought, no, I've got to do this. I've got to learn this. I've got to get to there. I've got to do this. And as soon as I had the call, I was just jumping around the office. I'm like, I'm going. And they're all like, no. You have to take one of the jobs. And I'm like, and it was that complete and utter, I've got a mortgage, I've got a car to run, I'm on my own. What am I doing and what am I going to do? And it's just trusting that everything is going to be okay. And it is.
Yeah, it always is, isn't it? Yeah. Always. And I just kind of play my way through life these days, knowing that, you know, and people look at me and go, well, how does that happen? You know, look, I've moved 4 times since I've been living here in Portugal, and each time the most amazing things have happened, and I just know that everything's going to be fine. And having that inner knowing, that inner strength is just remarkable, isn't it? And I wish I could bottle it and give it to people. But we have to get there ourselves. Everything is inside of us, but we have to get there ourselves. We have to find our own self, and get out of our own way, you know. So we'll be getting our way. So redundancy, I spent some years as a business consultant, and I was doing a lot of transformational change work with the behavioural profiling stuff I do, team dynamics and all the rest of it. And several times I was in situations where I was motivating teams, helping them to gel together, and then, you know, building them up. And then the company was bought or sold or whatever. And then I had to make people redundant. And the times that people said to me, thank heavens, and they're glad it was me that kind of did the deed. You know, I was obviously just the mouthpiece in this consultancy situation. But the way it was done, because it's the best thing that's ever happened to them. And they wouldn't have made the shift, exactly what you said. They waited and waited, and then thank heavens somebody came along and said, oh, you don't have a job here anymore, and they went, yay. So you had that freedom. You took that leap of faith. You could have gone straight out and got another job, but you decided to go self-employed. So talk us through that.
It was quite strange and very bizarre. And this is like, you know, be careful what you wish for, because you may just get it kind of thing comes into play. Because I'd been saying, when I was off sick, I read a lot of books, franchising, self-employment, being employed, anything and everything I could get my hand on that was different to being actually an employee. And I've read through all of them, and I'm like, the only option really to me is to be self-employed. I've read everything else, thought, no, that doesn't suit me. And I had no idea what I was going to do. But prior to actually being made redundant, and prior to the phone call, I'd started to put the feelers out, and I'd seen a flyer to say there was an organisation that helped business startups, you know, contact us and blah, blah, blah. So I did. And I'd booked an appointment, and I was planning to have the time off work, you know, holiday days, because it was full days. And I then was told I was being made redundant, and they wouldn't let me have that time because that was within the period of my working. I'm like, well, hang on a minute, you're supposed to let me have the time to go and get a job, but you won't let me do this. And I thought, it's not worth arguing, because I'm going to be able to be soon enough, so just do it. So I just changed the date. And the week after I was made redundant, I was sitting in this room with these people, not knowing what I was doing, not knowing what I was supposed to be doing, where I was going, not knowing anything, just thinking, right, I know that this is the start of something new. And I've had ups and downs, and lots of ups and downs, and, you know, to get me into the place that I am now, because that was in 2017. Yeah, 2017. So it's been a very long emotional roller coaster of a journey, but I know it was the right thing to do. Definitely the right thing to do, because I've had jobs in between as well. But I went to work as a holiday rep, because I thought, I can't do this on my own. I can't do, what am I doing? And it was just like, oh, just go. And it was, instead of stepping outside myself and finding me, I just went abroad and I just disappeared, and just like, you know, you're not leaving it behind, you're taking it all with you. But it was such a good experience and a learning experience. And then I came back, and then obviously wrote the books, because I came back because I had to. So that was another, you know, if your intuition, you know, if you're not listening to your intuition, we'll just give you that massive kick up the backside, and, you know, you're doing something else. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about your book. So the first book you mentioned, what's the title?
Katie, a New Chapter. I don't know whether you'll see it if I show it, because the lights.
The butterfly. Yeah, I can see the butterfly. Katie, a New Chapter. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can see that. Fabulous. So
That's the
Katie,
first one.
chapter. So where does the
Yeah.
title come from?
Kind of out of thin air, to be honest. When I was writing the books and I was developing the characters, because they're all a mixture of different people in my life, their different experiences. There's things in there that didn't happen. It just came from me going out for a walk and observing things. But the characters were just literally what sort of names were popular at that time. So they were born in the 60s or 70s or 80s or prior to that or whatever. And then it was just, oh, okay, what's the surname? And it literally was just Katie Chester. Chester's a place that has meaning for me in a situation I was in. And Katie was just, oh, that was, you know, a name that I came across when I did the research that was popular in the 1960s. She was born in 63. And I'm like, well, that'll do. And that was pretty much the same with all the characters. And they're like different, you know, one might be the build of one person, but the personality of somebody else, or it could be somebody that I've seen in the street, that I've walked behind somebody who's got, you know, that frame or whatever. So they're all a bit of a mismatch, if you like.
So is it a fiction? Is it autobiographical? Is it a mix? How would you describe it?
It's kind of a mix. It's a novel. It is a work of fiction. When I first went on a course to learn how to do it, like a few years ago, and I never did anything for 12 months after I'd been on that course, I'd already decided it was going to be a novel. But it's kind of semi-autobiographical, novel, fiction, self-help. You know, it kind of stretches across all of them, and very much like, you know, pick a genre and stick to it, or pick and I'm like, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't go in there or there or there or there. So it's very much, and it has helped people change their lives. The reviews that are phenomenal. The phone, you know, messages that I've had about how it's made an impact on a young girl's life, and she's gone from thinking she's not going to be there in a couple of weeks to actually, you know, planning her 5-year goals and things like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was just like, I was crying when I heard that. And you know, the first person to finish reading it just messaged and went, I think it's done what it was meant to do.
Wow.
Which is literally just to help somebody to either give them that awareness to make that change in their life, or to do, you know, some of the things that are suggested in some of the books. But ultimately it is just that little bit of a trigger to say, I need to take action and do it, and do something. You know, you can do it. It's within you to be able to do it. Just go for it.
Brilliant. It's going to be on my recommended reading list, because I'm going to be creating a book club quite soon. So
you need to slow down. You're doing so much.
I know, but that's what I do. That's what I do. Rick, can you read the cover bit? Read the bit that people, you know, when they pick the book up, there's normally something on the back. Or
on the back.
Yes.
This one. Yeah, you probably can't see.
Okay, nice picture of you. Oh, you look different there. Is that you?
Yes.
Look at this. Wow.
It is. Yeah, I know. This was taken in maybe 2018, I think. And I haven't had, and somebody said, we like the blonde on you. And I'm like, but I haven't yet had a photograph taken, professional or otherwise, that I actually like as much as this one. Right. So one day I will update my photo. I will. I will. So this one is, obstacles are everywhere, or are they only in Katie's mind? Struggling to find her way in life, Katie battles with stress, anxiety, depression, and the pain of a hysterectomy at a young age, leaving her without any children. Katie takes you into a wild world of roller coaster rides, trials and tribulations, finding help and support in the strangest of places. What are the butterflies trying to tell her? Can Katie battle her demons, achieve her dreams, and come out on top?
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So that's, I haven't read that for like above 12 months, because you just, you know, publish it, you forget about it, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Brilliant. So how do people get hold of a copy of Katie, the next chapter?
Okay, it's on Amazon. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. Oh, I will. It's worldwide on Amazon, so it's available everywhere.
Right.
Basically.
Worldwide. That's a feat in itself. Getting registered on all of those. Crikey, well done you.
So I'm now working on getting it to like bookshops and getting the wider, you know, Google Books and things like that. So that's a work in progress. That's finding the right platform and the right timing as well, because I've spoken to several people and I'm just like, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel right. So I'm just waiting. I'm just going when I'm guided with regards to that. So at the moment it's only on Amazon, or if they're in the UK, you can actually order a signed copy of the book through my website.
Okay, and what is your website, Lisa?
LisaMBillingham.com.
And spell Billingham for the listeners.
BILLINGHAM.
And that's Lisa with an S. Lisa M. Billingham.com.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, marvelous. So International Women's Day is coming up on the 8th of March. I think we should make a big thing about Katie on International Women's Day.
Okay. Oh, yes. I'm just writing this down.
So there's an idea.
Yeah. I always forget about
Okay,
that,
so did you always want to be an author?
No. It was only having been made redundant and going through the process of setting up a business and seeing different people and being, well, spending a lot of money and getting not a lot in return. Not entirely, you know, my own fault. I didn't understand what I needed to do and what was more important and whatever. So I just, again, went where I was guided, but then I did ignore the signs, so I ended up spending a lot of money. And it was very much, you need to be an authority, so you need to write a book. And I'm just sitting there going, what? And then some of the people that were saying this, like, it's an ebook and it's about 20 pages, or it's a lead magnet, or it's a whatever it was. And I actually went on a course in 2019, virtually 12 months to the day when I came back and started writing it, to look at actually doing that and writing a book. And it's, well, what do you want it for? And all the questions that I'd never even considered and never asked myself and never been asked, were asked in that meeting. And it was, the upshoot of it was an autobiography. Well, nobody knows you. A self-help book, again, nobody knows you. Is what memoir and all the rest of it, non-fiction. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could do so many, and which one would I do, and blah blah blah. And in the end I just thought, you know what, it's time to get my story out. So from that meeting I decided that it was going to be a novel, but it was going to be storytelling, best way storytelling. And I never thought any more of it. I'd got obviously notes when I used to journal, because I used to journal for my own mental health. So I'd got notes from there, but 90% of those I burned. So anything I actually typed, I dug out. And it was very cathartic, because it went back over some quite trying times and quite upsetting times. And just writing about those, and I'm like, no, sit, you've got to do it, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And it was that healing side of it. So it was very much like, well, how can I tell this in a story that will relate to, people in that situation, or help them to recognize the signs in other people as well? Because often I didn't recognize the signs in myself. Somebody else did, but didn't say anything. So it was like, kind of after I'd had the breakdown, it was like, I could see it happening, but I didn't know what to do. And that's part of the battle, isn't it? Having those awkward questions that will help somebody to make that change and to move forward. So
whole combination of everything that's happened. And as you say, writing is so cathartic, isn't it? I love writing. And I've published, I thought it was 10, it might only be 9, but I've contributed to 9 books now over the years, and I've had been part of 3 #1 bestsellers, which is pretty nice. It's a lovely feeling, and they're all
Yeah.
things that, you know, topics that have helped people, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing another one, volume 2 soon. We did Perfect Health volume 1, True Life Stories, and we invited people to write chapters about their situation, and we got to number 1. I think we had 12 authors, I think. So we've been umming and ahhing about doing a volume 2, and I think we might do that perhaps this year sometime.
Yeah.
So so how did you get then from so you're doing the books and you were made redundant, you read people? Tell us about that a bit more.
That was a bit of there was no like epiphany, there was no near-death experience, no flash of white lightning, nothing. When I was a teenager, strange things were happening that I couldn't quite place and I didn't understand. But again, I ignored it. And then it wasn't until I had my breakdown that my friend kept saying to me, come with me and see a medium. And I kept saying no. And then one day I thought, well, I've exhausted all my other options. I don't know what to do for the best. I may as well. And I was incredibly skeptical. And I went to the Spiritualist church, sat down, had the reading, and oh my, it blew me away. It literally did blow me away. And from there, that was in 2011, I think it was 2010, 2011. I'm rubbish with dates. And from there, I just thought, wow. Then I experienced healing for the first time within a very short space of time. And again, I was like, wow. I'm like, why do I not know about this? What's going on? What you know, whoa. And I just thought, as I came out of the healing, I need to be able to do this for other people. So I did loads and loads of research. I did a crystal therapy course. So I'm a qualified therapist. I did a wellbeing coaching course, and all to help me, but also to help others. And then I started to sit in a circle because I kept getting like strange messages, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And again, ignoring it. It was a lot was intuition, but some of it was like, you know, these strong messages, and I'm like, I don't get this. So I started sitting in a circle, and that was about 7 years ago. And from then on, I've done like readings within the circle or outside of the circle, and now I am just building on that. I stopped doing it for a while, and then I've come back to it again. And funnily enough, a medium told me I would do that as well. So it's been like a bit of a, you know, the straight line is never ever straight, is it? But it was all that learning, and now I can do it to help people. I'm just all about helping other people. And a lot of people have been in situations that I have with mental health or major surgery or whatever, and a lot haven't. It just depends on, it's very much that that connection, that if you make that connection, then yeah, it's good. If you don't, then that's fine too. But just the messages. And now I used to just see like words. So it'd be like, you know, maybe it would be like, you've got purple background, purple. So what's purple relevant in this situation? Things, or fruit or veg or whatever. And then as time's gone on, I can now see and describe the people that are trying to get the message through, or, you know, so it varies with the way that they work. And I think with the spiritual journey, you are always learning. You know, for years I strove to be, I want to be that perfect version of me, and I want to have X, Y, and Z and be this and do that. And then I suddenly realised, like, you know, I'm never going to be the finished article. I just need to do what I need to do for others and for myself while I'm here, to the best of my ability. And that's all I think that anybody can really ask for.
Yeah, that's about appreciating the journey, isn't it? And appreciating day to day and the roller coaster, because we need the bad bits, because how do we know what a good bit looks like if we've not experienced the bad bits, and all of that good stuff together. You mentioned circle. For the benefit of the listeners, please describe what you mean about circle.
It's an expression for just it's a group of people who have the gift, and we've all got it, we just, you know, a lot of us don't use it. And it's to kind of hone your skills, I suppose. and learn, because we've all got the gift and we just all need to trust. But until I got to that point and I didn't understand, I couldn't decipher what was being told to me. So it's just all that process of learning, but it's in a group of like-minded people that are in a similar situation to you, you know, some more advanced, some just starting out or whatever, and you can help each other on that journey, and read for each other. So, you know, oh, that doesn't make sense, that does, and then oh, I need to go away, you know, and do research on that and find out whether that, because obviously sometimes we're going back a long way and it was before that person's lifetime, so they wouldn't know. So then, you know, by asking, and that happened to me the first time I went, and I'm like, well, none of that makes sense. But when I'd spoken to family members, it was like, oh yeah, so that was right, that was right, that was right. Maybe not, don't know about that one, we'd have to, you know. So it's just that support as well, because it's a very, to me, it was a very lonely place, because I didn't know where to go and who to ask. So sitting in that circle of people, and you're going, and you're sitting there going, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yes, finally.
Brilliant. So it's about finding your tribe, isn't it? And when you're with your tribe, you know, you're like-minded people, that is just so beneficial for everybody. It's a bit like Reiki healers doing a Reiki share. And I'm Reiki too. I forget I can do it because I don't have many opportunities to do it. But on the Reiki shares, where Reiki healers who do it, you know, for kind of full time. They're helping other people, but who helps them? So it's a similar kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wonderful.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Coming together to support.
You mentioned your website earlier on for the book. Is that the same website for people to get hold of you for readings?
It is, yeah.
So remind us what that is.
Yeah. www. Why do I always say that? LisaMBillingham.com.
Wonderful. And any last tips, any top tips for people who find themselves in this lacking clarity, not knowing about their intuition? How can they hone it? Any tips for people?
I would say trust yourself, but first and foremost, learn who you are, learn to love yourself. And this has taken me so long to do myself. And it's just that, like, take that quiet moment, because we're all so busy. We don't take that breath and just be, just sit quietly and just clear your mind, which I know is so difficult to do. And just, what do you really want to do and want to be? Who do you want to be? Who are you? You know, who is Lisa? Who is Elaine? Who are you? And what do you enjoy doing? And start to do more of the things that you enjoy rather than the things that you feel you have to do.
Absolutely.
And then start to see the flow.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Elaine. You too. Take care.